Hi, thank you for joining me for this intermediate classical Pilates workout. I have thrown in some air squats to start us off as I am working on my squat technique, and I use this workout as a warm-up for my weight training. If you are new to my channel and especially to Pilates, please check out the fundamentals exercises. Make sure to stand with your feet hip distance apart and knees over the second toes. Make sure to really connect to the heels and track the knees so that they do not either collapse inward or out. Inhale to lower and exhale to push through the heel. So you can pause your video anytime you need to. I would work up to 10 really good deep squats if possible. Making sure again that the knees track over the feet and they're allowed to go beyond the toes as long as you're aligned. And then let's use this deep squat to lower to the mat. Okay, so squeeze your heels together as tightly as you can and lift those legs. If you've done the hundreds before, then you will recognize this shape. If you have not, I highly recommend the Fundamentals series where you work up to this shape. So as you pump your arms, the higher you pump them, the harder it is to keep that head, the shoulders, and the ribs just off the mat. Inhale through the nose for 5 seconds as you pump, and exhale for 5 seconds as you pump. And we do this cycle 10 times. That's why it's called the hundreds. Lower your heels as low as possible. Lower your legs as low as possible as you pump the arms and as you go through this cycle. Try not to move your upper body. And then come all the way down. We're going to roll up for the next exercise, which is called the roll up. So as you roll up, try and limit how much your legs push forward and try and limit how much they slide back. And that's going to change depending on the size of your rear. So yeah, the bigger your butt, the more your legs are going to move because you have a greater circumference to roll back. However, you're going to feel your stomach way more if you try and push the heels and push the legs out of your trunk. And also, of course, the tighter your back is, the more challenging this is going to be. And so, again, I'm going to have to recommend that you check out some of my other videos where I use my hands to help with the roll-up. And there's nothing wrong with using those hands. And I'm using my index fingers there to demonstrate how I'm rolling through this exercise. I'm rolling my pelvis around my femurs, my legs, to roll up and to roll down. And this really connects you to your center. The next exercise is the rollover. And for rollover, you must squeeze those heels on the way over, and then you pull them apart on the way down. Now, the biggest thing to do here, the biggest focus is to not let the legs, no matter how long they are, pull you around on the mat. So try and notice how still my torso is and how quiet my upper body is. You're also trying to push into those arms as hard as you can as you take those legs over. So we do 3 with the heels over, the heels connected over, and then we reverse the sequence. We reverse it by opening up the heels on the way down. Then the next exercise is one leg circle. So try raising your arms overhead behind you like I'm demonstrating here, but also keeping your rib cage down. Not an easy thing to do, but for those of us that have rounded shoulders or even slightly rounded shoulders, what this does is it really stretches the pec minor. It stretches the muscles in the chest. Okay, let's scissor and switch and switch and switch. Move from your seat as you do that with your legs to try and really connect to the stomach. And then let's do this. Let's do the same thing on this side. So push those arms back behind you. Even if you don't have a classical mat like I do, try and simulate a pushing back through the arms to see, even just to see how tight your chest is. If you can't keep your ribs down, well, then we might want to look at stretching the pecs, stretching the chest, and trying to reach those arms overhead a little bit more to connect you to the back. All right, let's go. Let's roll like a ball. That's the next exercise. And counterintuitively, try picking your hips up to go overhead. And if you're more flexible, If you have been doing this for a while, try grabbing your arms around the front of your shins. So try bringing your legs in as closely as possible. Otherwise, just holding on. And then we're going to move into one leg pull. So with one leg pull, you're grabbing that knee, pulling it into you as tightly as possible while keeping that upper body up. Breathe whenever you can. So I'm probably inhaling here and then exhaling and then inhaling and reaching those legs out of my center. And then that takes us into this next exercise, double leg pull. So you're pulling here on the exhale and then inhale, hold, exhale to curl. Inhale, hold it, reach out of your center. As best you can, as big as you can reach, hold your upper body up as you reach those arms and legs. Reach and hold on the inhale, exhale to pull it in. And by the way, if I ever cue the breath or mention a breath that doesn't work for you, just breathe however you need to. Okay, grabbing at the top of that leg, single straight leg pull. We're going to reach and pull, and you're always reaching. You're always reaching the bottom leg. Both hands interlaced behind your head as you lower and lift for 5. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. We try to do series of 5s for each. So 5 sets or 5 reps. Inhale and then twisting here, elbow to knee. You're twisting with that torso picked up. So try and keep the tip of your shoulder blades off the mat as you twist and twist. And as you twist, you're reaching the opposite leg while reaching towards the knee with that elbow. All right, and then coming right down and just having a little stretch here before we move on. I feel like I need a little back stretch. So we're just going to take opposite hand to knee. And then if you can reach to your foot, then we're going to create this nice oppositional stretch and slight twist of the spine. So this rotation is going to feel really nice. And then we're also targeting that superficial back line. Okay, let's roll up to the top of the mat for spine stretch forward. With those legs outstretched and just slightly past hip distance, we're going to curl forward. Notice that this is not a hinge. My back is curling or rounding, so you're in flexion. Inhale tall and exhale to curl forward. You're reaching those arms forward, but your stomach is contracting to stretch the spine, and of course the legs get a stretch as well. Exhale to curl, and you're reaching as far as you can, and then you're lengthening up as tall as possible. And then from here, we're going to lean back and catch the legs in mid-air. So you can pause the video and try that a few times for open leg rocker. That was the transition. We're going to go 5 in a row, inhaling back, exhaling forward, or a variation that fits with your body. I'm trying to keep my spine relatively flexed, but I'm pushing with my seat. I'm pushing forward through the seat to bring me up. And then we're transitioning down for corkscrew. From here, you're going to bring those arms overhead if you have a classical mat and lift the legs. So I'm going to demonstrate both variations, don't worry. And what we're doing here is we're really trying to connect the rib cage down as the legs roll down and away from the body. And again, we're doing this without the legs pulling on the upper body. Now let's try this with the arms down. Most of you don't have a classical mat, so we're going to do this to build arm strength, back strength, stomach strength as you corkscrew the legs around. Basically, you're doing a semicircle up to center, and then you're alternating sides. One to the right, one to the left. Breathe when you can, then come down. I did a set of 5 with the hands down, and now we're going to move into saw. With this exercise, I love this for those of you and for myself, if you have any lower back strain, especially just above the hips here, that quadratus lumborum, try and keep the hip, the opposite hip down as you twist. So as I twist to my right, my left hip is really pinned down as I flex forward and even as I rotate. So as I rotate now, my right hip stays down when I turn to the left. Inhale to twist and exhale as you flex forward. And I don't know if you can tell, but my back arm is lifting as I flex forward and I'm grounding through the pelvis. There's a lot going on here, but this is a very powerful exercise because it really wrings out the stomach, works the obliques. It makes you have to stretch your legs. And of course, it's also working the stomach and that back line again, those triceps. Okay, from here, we're going to roll down. And I'm just going to give you another little stretch here, hugging the knees. When they go right, look left. And when the knees go left, look right. Little rotation there. All right, let's roll over. Next exercise is the swan dive. We're going to start with a preparation. So the swan, using the poles, you're pulling back on the poles. And I'm a little bit far back. I'm just seeing this here, but let's make sure those hands are just under the shoulders. I'm going to do both variations for those of us with and without the mat. You're pulling back energetically to dive or to pull the chest forward. So you pull back to drive the body forward, and then you rock and catch. So keeping that body really tight, keeping your hips tight and your butt tight, your seat is tight. We're going to bring those arms into a T. And then you're going to stretch it out into a child's pose. Let's add a stretch here by pulling on the heels and lifting the ribs. All right, single leg kick is next, aligning those elbows just in front of the shoulders and really wrapping that pelvis back so that there's very little bouncing as you bend the knee. So in this exercise, I want you to think about a hamstring curl. You know how the hamstrings feel really tight and connected when you do a hamstring curl? That's what you're eliciting here every time you kick. And you're in extension, so you're pulling those ribs forward to correct your posture and to work that upper back. Followed by double leg kick. So for double leg kick, same applies. We're working the glutes and the upper back. So every time you kick, that's a hamstring curl. Every time you push your arms back, you're working your mid back. We're trying to stay out of that lower back by curling that pelvis under, by pressing the pubic bone down, keeping the stomach pulled in so that we can keep that lower back long and the upper back tight. As a result, your chest gets this massive stretch. Inhale. Exhale as you come down. And then we go right into the next exercise. Neck pull. With your legs hip distance apart, ankles flexed, heels reaching, you're going to roll up to the top and then roll yourself back down. Use your hands at your side to facilitate rolling up. We're doing this as smoothly as possible, and then you can take those hands behind your head to add more weight, to add a level of difficulty for the roll up before flexing forward. We're going to do 3 in a row. Remember to exhale whenever you need to, breathe whenever you can to get through it. And then we're going to move into shoulder bridge. With your hands at your side, pressing back down so you feel your triceps. Inhale, lifting one leg and lowering it while maintaining those ribs pulled in and your seat activated. This is a glute bridge, so you don't want to feel your back. And should you feel your back, lower your hips. And then you're swinging that leg up and down with the powerful connection to your seat. Inhale and then roll down through the spine. We're also going to do the intermediate version, starting with scissors. So with your hands under your hips, you're going to move your legs, scissoring the legs like splits, moving from the seat and then moving that into bicycle. As if you're riding your bicycle, you're simulating circles, reaching the heels as far away from your center as you can, and then reversing it, reaching the heel while maintaining balance through that upper body. And then we're going to transition here into our shoulder bridge. This is the intermediate shoulder bridge. The hips are elevated and you have to still push through the heel to connect to the seat on one side while lowering and lifting on the other side. We're doing 5 of each, lowering and lifting while maintaining the pressure through the heel and maintaining connection to the seat. Once again, you're using your seat to lower and lift that leg that's moving and then rolling down through the spine. All right, the next exercise we're going to do is spine twist. Make sure you glue those heels together, sitting tall, reaching those legs, and then you exhale to twist around. Reach those arms as far out of your body as you can. And if you notice that just your arms are moving and your torso is not, then interlace the fingers and place them behind your head. And that's a great starting point. Otherwise, as you twist around, you're exhaling as you twist 3 times. And you want the sense that you're getting taller, even though technically your spine is actually compressing. All right, let's roll ourselves down and move into jackknife. So first we're going to do this with the arms at our side and press down into the mat. Once again, do not let those legs drag you around. The upper body is immobile. The upper body is connected. Those ribs are pulled in and you're standing on your shoulders and a little bit on your neck. You're pushing through the hands to feel those triceps and back as you reach up once and then roll yourself down. All right, we're going to move into our side kick series next. So we're going to turn ourselves onto our side, and we're going to make sure that that bottom foot, the longitudinal edge, the longest edge of your bottom foot is pressed fully into the mat. And as you can see here, we're propped up on that bottom elbow, and the reason for that is because you're stretching your tricep and stretching your side body. You're stretching your obliques and the serratus, which is the push-up muscles and those planking muscles. Let's swing those legs together. Stay with me. Most of us can reach that leg forward and back, so focus on those back kicks. And then we're going to take that into circles. So with the leg extended, with the leg behind you, as if you were trying to kick the wall behind you, see if you can circle that leg 10 times. I'm flexing both feet now, so I'm reaching the heels of both feet as I circle the leg. And you're trying to maintain balance. I love this exercise. This next exercise, up, down, you're trying to reach the top leg longer than the bottom leg, even when you lift it. So don't worry if you can't lift the leg very high. Same with these little circles here. We're just going to do 3. You're really trying to turn that top leg. So in this case, this is my left leg. I'm turning it to the left. If you're using your right leg right now, dial it to the right. And then maybe just follow me here on this one. So this is one first video where I show my backside. And maybe if we can just mirror each other, you're facing my back. We're going to swing kick that top leg while pushing the bottom heel and foot, the whole foot down into the floor. So you're essentially abducting both legs. You're pulling both legs apart as you swing kick forward, swing kick back, really reaching back. Now, as you can see here, my heel is behind me and I'm circling the leg. So I'm feeling the top of my glute, the top of my outer glute. We're going for 10 and then we're changing direction. I just changed direction. Notice my bottom elbow is reaching. And so my obliques are engaged, definitely my serratus, my armpit, and my triceps getting stretched. Up, down is next. Turn that right leg to the right as deeply as you can turn it to the right and lift it up and down 5 times. Don't go for height, go for length. I started with the derpiest, smallest little lift. Keep it small and then lift if you have the range. Then we take it to 3 circles. Forward, up and back 3 times with that leg dialed or turned to the right because, of course, it's my right leg that's up. So it's a right turn. And then we are done with that one. Good work. Okay, moving on to teaser. All right, for teaser, you're going to start with those arms and legs really long, rolling up to the top, and then rolling it all back down again. And then we're just breathing whenever we can, but I'm going to cue you the way or tell you or suggest the best way I think works or a way that works for me. I'm exhaling here through the teaser. And then at the top, I pause and I exhale down with the legs in the air. And then I inhale up and then I exhale down and then I inhale back up. And then I exhale down, inhale back up again and exhale down. I try and go all the way, exhale back up. I think I'm losing it. And then I exhale down. I think I have one more. Inhale up And then I bring everything back down. And if you were able to stick with me for any of that, that's an incredibly challenging exercise, and even more so with your at-home mats. Okay, swimmer is next, or swimming is next. Arms and legs are reaching. You're reaching the legs as far out of your body as humanly possible. You're looking forward. You're reaching those arms maybe above the head if you have that flexibility, and you're kicking opposite arm to leg, and then pressing up into our leg pull front. You're standing on the toe mounds with those shoulders over the wrists. It's a lift, back front shift of the bottom leg, and then lower. Lift, back front, and then lower. You're working the ankle, so that bottom foot, you're working that bottom foot so that you can get more power out of your walking, out of your hiking, out of your running. And then we flip over and we're going to do leg pull. Yep, that other one was called leg pull front. This is called leg pull. The leg lifts, you alternate, you try and keep that. This is a kind of an intermediate bridge with the chest lifted here. Try not to lock your elbows, so tiny little bend in the elbows as you lift your legs. And then we're going to bring it down right here into side kick kneeling. So on your knee, you're going to shift onto your knee with the shin bone down, pressing that shin bone down as hard as you can, shoulder over the wrist, and then you're going to kick that leg forward and back 5 times. And then we're going to do 3 circles, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Yeah, that hand position, that's an advanced hand position there to stretch that whole side body, to get that whole stretch through the entire side. It's also offering a little bit of resistance and makes that neck work a little bit more. So yeah, if you can take your palm, fingers down against your cheek, and then raise that elbow high, that is a little bit more advanced. If that doesn't work for you, you can always bring the hand behind the head. We're doing our circles here by pressing down through the shin as hard as you can. And then we're going to go into our side bend. We're only going to do 3 of these. So with your hand just slightly forward of the shoulder so that you line up almost directly over that shoulder, you're going to drop the hip right here, drop the hip, look towards your heel, and then exhale into this arc. Yeah, this is a balancing act, and you're really pushing through that hand as you stack the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So for the other side, you want to have enough room to lift and then bring that shoulder over the wrist and stack. Inhale as you lower, and I'm exhaling as I lift, reaching as far over as I can. And again, I'm stacked, trying to pull those hips, knees, and ankles on top of each other. Moving on to the next exercise, boomerang. Crossing the ankles, use your arms to push forward so that you can hook your legs overhead. And then you control this teaser shape back down again. So you're using oppositional energy, the push of the arms, to lift the teaser shape overhead. And then you're going to continue with that connection through the back. Try to achieve a shape that looks less like a V and more like a U. And use your arms by pushing them forward to connect not just to your back, but to your stomach. Keep those legs reaching out of you. And then for seal, place your hands on the inside of your legs, grabbing your heels, and then tap your heels together using the hips. Instead of using the feet, you're going to use your hips to open, close the legs really quickly. And yeah, this seems a bit radical here, but we really want to open the back and use the stomach to lift the hips over. And the same goes here for crab. So you're pulling up through the heels, you're keeping the heels close, and then you crisscross the legs while keeping your body really compact, moving from the center. And we're only going to do 3 of these before moving on to rocking. Lying on your stomach, bend your knees and grab your ankles. With your elbows slightly bent, roll your pelvis back so that your pubic bone presses down, and lift the heels to pick up your head, your shoulders, and part of your ribs. As you inhale, the lungs will pick you up, and as you exhale, the ribs will bring you down. Then we're going to move on to control balance. Okay, this is our second to last exercise. Lying on your back with your hands at your side, pick up your legs, rolling over, and then bringing those arms overhead, grab one leg as you lift the other. So finding balance on this is a little tricky. So you have to focus on the top leg. And by focusing on the squeeze of your seat of that top leg, in that top leg, you will find length. You will find the balance that is necessary for this exercise. Try and keep your arms plugged in. And as you grab the leg, also you're pulling it into the socket. You're pulling it into the joint so that you can keep your hips nice and square. And then let's roll all the way back down. Okay, meet me in a standing position for push-ups. Okay, our very last exercise is the push-up, and we're going to come to a standing position with the heels together, rolling forward, keeping those hips forward, and then bringing the shoulders right over the wrists. Inhale to lower the body to the ground, exhale to press up. I'm going to do 3 sets of 3, but if you can do more, you can do 3 sets of 5 or even 3 sets of 10. When you're doing your push-up, again, ensure that your shoulders are over the wrists, that your hands are spread wide, and that you're connecting to the armpits. Try and keep your ribs pulled in and your stomach nice and tight. You've made it to the end of this workout, all 34 exercises. If you're focusing on building strength, work up to doing 5 sets of 5 push-ups until you can make it all the way to the ground. I hope you're feeling great. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you soon.